So welcome to New York.
Thanks.
Is it your first time here?
No, it's not. I've been here 3 times before, but only for a few days at a time. So I feel like I got all the tourist stuff out of the way, and this time I could just come and relax and well, not that I've relaxed. I've been very busy, but just like focus on all my work and stuff and all my meetings and relax. Yeah, so that's good.
And of course you're here because of the Independent Music Awards.
I am.
How does it feel to have been nominated?
Pretty amazing, actually. Yeah, it's a big deal. I didn't even realize how big the awards were until after I was nominated. So, yeah, and then I started getting told, by people in the industry in Australia and here, this is a big deal. And then I got, really dizzy and pretty nervous, but yeah, very happy to come. And it's the catalyst for getting me back over here, so it's really great.
What was your favorite part of the show?
Well, they had some really great musical performances at the show, so I'd say I enjoyed that probably the most. Taking some photos on the red carpet and all that stuff, but really, I got to meet so many great people as well that were kind of like, we were supposed to be, I think, sitting in our seats the whole time, but a lot of people were milling around at the back and sort of chatting and stuff, so that was fun.
So the song you were nominated for, Tell Me It's Over, is featured on your debut album, Blue Wooden Boat, and that was a collaboration with the McCrary sisters, right?
That song, it wasn't really a collaboration, but I guess I hired them to come in, so I produced the song and recorded it partly in Ireland and partly in Nashville. And just through my engineer over there, Tim Carter, I managed to meet them and hook up with them and get them to come to the studio. We actually saw them at a Bob Dylan concert because they have regularly performed with Bob Dylan, and I had this track where I was thinking of having harmonies on it, and then when I saw them I was like, oh yeah, he said those are the women I can get for you, and I was like, yes. And they brought the house down in the studio. They're absolutely amazing.
And you're also a really amazing songwriter.
Thank you.
What age did you start writing?
Probably, I think I would have started songwriting at about 15. And then I wrote about 50 songs by the time I got to university. But I went to an Ani DeFranco concert and threw 49 of them in the bin, because I was sort of like, I didn't know we were allowed to tell the truth. And then I started again, and and I just approached songwriting completely differently. So I've probably written over 300 songs at this point.
And how do you think how do you think your songwriting has developed since you started? Have you learned anything?
I've learned nothing. No, just kidding. I've played a lot with structure, and I've played with lots of different genres, and I have abandoned structure and abandoned genre, and I have sort of started to focus more on the storytelling aspect of songwriting, so just sort of not worrying about commercial structure anymore, and just really wanting the story to champion the song. So that's sort of my next focus. I'm doing a folk jazz crossover for my next album with a little bit of spoken word, so very story focused now.
So where do you draw your biggest inspiration from when you're writing?
When I'm writing, probably like musically or just in general? In general. So I do have to be inspired in order to write. So whether it's to do with some kind of political issue or social politics or just an issue that I really care about. I wrote a song last year about Irish emigration, the last wave that came to Australia, about the abandoned houses that were left behind. I just have to care about something. And if it's personal, I have to just be really, feeling something deeply. Like, I don't write happy songs at all. I'm not like, I would be terrible, I think, at writing pop. I think, like, when I've ever tried to write something like that, like a commercial pop song, it's really hard for me. I would like to learn how to do that because I'm not allergic to money, but yeah, I think just, the issue at hand has to inspire me, and then I just feel like I wrote a song last year about violence against women that was inspired by a particular incident in Australia that was, quite a big national story, and it's just about being inspired by something, I think.
So going back to your album Blue Wooden Boat, you know how much I love that. What was the, I guess, like the inspiration behind it, or what made you put all those, like, how did you cut down the songs?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you had a lot.
Yeah, because I have a lot of material. So I guess, like, because I have lots of material and I've written in lots of different genres, I suppose I sort of remembered, some wisdom from many years ago from a friend who's, quite well known in the Australian industry, sort of, I don't know, pointing out that in a way, a lot of the time you get sort of known for the first thing that you bring out, and if you bring out something that's, you bring out a country album, then people are going to sort of think of you as a country artist, and then you want to do a soul album, they're going to say, what, that's off-brand or whatever. And I thought, well, I want to do, I write in folk, alt country, blues, jazz, spoken word, and I like playing with different genres, and so I sort of thought, well, if I bring out an album that blends all of those elements together, then I can do anything I want next, and it's not going to surprise me.
I think you did a really good job of that.
Thank you very much. So I just sort of wanted to bring out something, I guess that was a bit of a showpiece, that's sort of like, well, this is what I can do, and now I'm going to take one of those elements and do this, and a few of those elements and do this other thing, and because I have the next few albums I have planned out are kind of themed, so they're all going to be different. Yeah.
Cool. So I guess you're working on new music already.
Yes. Well, my next album is written, really.
Right.
So I'm now working on arrangements with a composer and pianist called Matthews, and we're preparing to get back in the studio, make the magic happen.
So what are you looking forward to for the rest of this year?
This year?
Yes.
Oh my God, I thought you were going to say this week.
This week? Whatever. Open
so
to
much on
interpretation.
this week for the rest of my time in New York. Well, I have a few different projects on. So last year I won a screenwriting award in LA for a short screenplay I'd written, and I've just written the first draft of the feature, so I'm going to be redrafting that a bunch of times, I'm sure. And I've also just started directing music videos, 2 of which are premiering in July, and I have some short films I want to make, I want to direct, and the album and gigs, and I'm still running the label, and big focus on synchronization at the moment, so following up on all the meetings I've had in the last week with people, and just all of that.
Do you think your songwriting has influenced like your screenplay writing? And
I think I carry the same kind of vein, like the same kind of vibe of like, honest and raw, and trying to get to sort of the bottom of the truth and stuff. Like with my writing, I definitely take that into, because I'm writing drama.
Okay.
There are definitely a lot of shared elements, I think, for sure.
Did anything specific inspire you to start screenplay writing?
Not really. I trained in directing and at university, and screenwriting was part of that. But I guess I just I'd always written stories, like poetry and short stories, and I was doing poetry at uni as well, which is kind of how I came back to songwriting. But it was always just all kind of tied in together. So even at film school, in the poetry, which was my minor, I was songwriting and then I was screenwriting, and it was just all kind of, I've always been doing both. I took a break from the film world for about 9 years and was over in Ireland for 7 years, just being a musician and a freelance photographer. But now it's sort of all coming back together, and it's all happening together again. I don't know. I like storytelling.
Yeah.
And I guess even with the, the photography or whatever, like they're all forms of storytelling to me. And so I'm not I used to people would put me under pressure sometimes to nail down one thing and say, are you a musician or are you going to be a filmmaker? And I don't know, I've given myself permission to shake that off and not feel that pressure and go, well, I'm a creator, I'm a storyteller, and I'm project-based. So if I'm doing an album or if I'm writing a film or directing something, that's my current project. And I'm doing all of it.
So if there was one song that, I know it's going to be hard, but if there was one song from your album that you would recommend that people absolutely need to listen to, what would that be?
I think it would be Tell Me It's Over, the song that was nominated for the award. I just think it's a really killer track. It was a song that was kind of written out of great pain, and I feel like all my best songs are. It's almost like if I don't cry when I'm writing the song, it's not going to be a great song. Well, that's how I know it's a good song, and the point of that is that it's I'm writing from a very raw and honest place, and that connects with people, and I think that is connecting with people because I was voted for that nomination, was actually fan voted, so to me that speaks about connection. I would say definitely check out that one first. Yeah. I'm Aminah Hughes and I'm in Central Park, New York City, and I love Musical Notes Global. Thank you for the fantastic review of my album, and it's so nice to meet you and to be here with you. I love your work.